Guys, this is Mackenzie. She lives in Milwaukee, and that's our older sister, Trinity. And Trinity's been a member of Buzz's Bunch since the first year. And so this is our 13th year, and she was a part of all of it at Marquette and traveled each time to Virginia Tech for our camp in the summer and our December games, and now at Texas A&M. So you can ask her any question you want. I was just joking. They're not going to ask you any questions. Questions for Dave?
How big was it that when you weren't on a night where you weren't shooting real well, especially down the stretch, you played defense A. I think you limited like 3 field goals in the last 9:30, but also didn't give them a lot of second chance opportunities.
I mean this without sounding condescending. I have great respect for how hard our guys are trying to do what it takes for us to have a chance. We have a negative margin. That they're accepting of that says a lot about who they are as people. And then that they're trying to follow the recipe that gives us a chance says a lot about how competitive they are. And that there has yet to be a game here since we've been together that anything you would tweet or write you would describe as pretty. But there's a groundswell of maybe respect, just like in your question, Gabe, those stats, like at some point you have to honor that, even though it's not aesthetically pleasing, you have to respect that. And I told them after the game, that's why I struggle hollering at them, because they're trying. And they're trying to do what we're asking them to do, which is ultra specific, because it's the only chance we have. We had 43 total rebounds, the highest we've had thus far this year. We won again on the glass, which is a direct correlation to why it's our first 3-game winning streak. We had 15 offensive rebounds, which continues an upward climb of our offensive rebounding percentage. We defensive rebounded 72%, which is solid and distinctly better than what we've done. We still have a turnover rate issue, but the recipe is so specific that we have no ability to add or miss an ingredient. And in the right tone of voice, they are accepting of all of those things that I just said. And at 20 years old, I respect that.
Coach, you talked about, how hard they're trying, and Josh Nebo was all over the glass and altering shots. How important is his energy that he plays with for this team's success?
Perfectly stated. The amount of energy required physically is easy to see, not from Nebo, but from everybody. What is not as hard, what is more difficult to see is the amount of emotional energy and the amount of mental energy to follow the exact recipe and still have that same level of physical energy. Like, we have to have Nebo have a double-double with almost as many offensive rebounds as defensive rebounds in order for us to have a chance. And if for some reason we can throw him the ball without turning it over, we need 1 out of every 4 shots that he takes, we need it to be an and one. And then we need him to shoot above 65% if he gets a free throw attempt. Like, that's about as specific as we can be. And if he doesn't do that, we're in a bind. Savion plays an entire first half with 0 total rebounds. E-Man plays an entire first half with 0 offensive rebounds. That was 25 minutes out of 100 in the first half, where our best offense, we got nothing from 2/3 of the guys that have a chance to go get it. We can't do that. But we need Nebo to be what he has been this month.
When the season first began and Nebo was hurt, and we were asking you about him and his role in the team,
Yeah.
you were very, it kind of came across maybe a little skeptical to us about what kind of impact he'd play. I know a big part of that was getting through boot camp. Did you know he was going to be this consistent of a player for you at that time?
No, and I'm weird just going forward. I'm weird about injuries, not because I'm trying to be deceitful relative to the opponent, but I feel like as a parent, I wouldn't want a coach broadcasting what my child's injury was. And like sometimes I feel overprotective of our guys relative to injuries in saying Justin Robinson broke his foot last year. And I received such backlash that I wouldn't say that. Maybe that's appropriate according to the view that you guys have. But I told his mom I wouldn't say that because I thought he had a chance to be a pro. And the people that know what's going on, they're going to find it out from the medical file. But I didn't want them finding out about it from a tweet of a guy at the press conference. So I'm trying to do a lot better here, specifically with you. I wasn't being deceitful in my answer about Nebo. Our individual workouts, I think there were 10 of them. It's really not skill development. It's really discipline, toughness, culture building stuff that doesn't really require any skill. Boot camp is that on steroids as a team, not as an individual. He tore his hamstring on the very first sprint of boot camp. So when I was asked, I didn't want to say he tore his hamstring because I don't think there's ever an accurate estimate from a medical advice, not that we have bad doctors, on how long it takes a hamstring to heal, where you can then join the intensity of what we do. And I had never seen any skill from him because the first 10 individual workouts have no skill. It's just, are you willing to fight? Are you willing to be in a fight? So I didn't know.
How do you like the way he fought? This is the first game of the year that he's played with 4 fouls. So to play smart, but also play hard.
Yeah, and I agree. And like I was explaining to the team, that's hard for us to absorb. And that requires someone else to eat minutes the way Yeezy did. Yeezy had more, for the first game action in the month of December, had more rebounds than Savion and E-Man combined in less than half of the minutes. That gave us a chance. And we were trying, that was a byproduct of trying to protect Nebo because we can't absorb many consecutive possessions without him.
But I feel like, if you can remember what goes through your mind in that instance.
Yes, sir.
15 seconds ago, they're trying to tie it, and they got Curry Armstrong going at Josh. Did you feel like right there you're in pretty good shape? If you can remember.
Yes, sir. I mean this without sounding arrogant. I probably remember too much because I have a lot of voices and a very chaotic brain. Here's the deal with Nebo. He's such a freak of an athlete that he had 8 blocks against Oregon State, and 3 of them you're like, it should have been on Sports Center if we were a good team. Because it's like, whoa. What happens with guys that have that athleticism is they're kind of waiting too long because they know they can get it in the air. But our defense, team specific, we can't allow anybody to get in the paint, whether Nebo's going to block the shot or not, because we're in full-out rotation if the ball's gotten that deep on the floor, and now we have no chance to get a rebound. So when Nebo needs to come across and be the secondary defender, he has to do that. When he's not the primary or the secondary defender, that's when he can block/alter shots and still not negatively impact our defense.
Did he play that the way you wanted him to play that much?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. But he came across to get it because he was the secondary defender.
You feel like y'all are ready for SEC play?
I don't know. I don't know. We could have easily lost any guarantee game that we've played, and we can continue to say that, or we can turn it and say, yeah, but we didn't, and there's something to be said for that. We have not been through what we're about to go through in the month of January. 8 games, 4 on the road, 4 at home, every Tuesday, every Saturday. I study a lot of metrics and study a lot of numbers. Interesting how this month will play out for the Aggies. But every day, starting on Wednesday, every day throughout the month, we've planned almost like football coaches do training camp, because it's the most symmetrical month I've ever seen as a head coach, any month. That 4's on the road, 4's at home, they're all on the same days, so what you're doing on the days that you don't play are going to be the exact same. Half of the weekend games are on the road, half of the weekday games are on the road, vice versa. I think we have gained some traction relative to what it is that we have to do in order to have a chance. Does that mean that the results are going to be what we want? I don't know. Do we need any more games like this? I don't know, because I don't know that it would change our margin. It might change our execution level, and we might get a little better. I think in the month of December we have improved. But like every other team at this time of the year, it's time for the next thing. And we will not be favored to win a game the rest of the year.
What challenges does Arkansas present?
I haven't studied them. I know bits and pieces. I have great respect for Coach Muss. You know, you guys ought to write one sentence. This was the Chambers, it has an S on the end of it, Bowl. You guys just didn't know that. Josh Chambers has been with us 5 years. And Josh's older brother was at Nevada when Coach Jones was there with Muss, and now Coach Chambers, Josh's brother Brandon, is now an assistant at Texas Southern, and I think Josh gave Brandon all of our play calls. They were calling them before we ran them. So we probably need to figure that out, but we won the Chambers Bowl. What was the question?
Arkansas just won.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that they're playing incredibly well. I know that defensively it's hard to dribble and hard to make an entry pass. I know that they play undersized and they spread the floor very well. They run the best NBA quick hitters of all time, and they score a lot of points from 3, including their game against Indiana.
They got a JUCO guy.
I love JUCO guys just because I'm one of them.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you guys.
There you go.